Ever felt like you're stuck facing an impossible video game boss? Like a massive math test or a new school? Thousands of years ago, a kid named David faced a real, literal giant on a battlefield just like this one. The giant, Goliath, was heavily armed and absolutely terrifying. His massive size alone completely paralyzed the king's most experienced soldiers with fear. But when you go up against a giant, standard stats like physical size and military experience aren't the only ways to win. David was a young shepherd boy. He had zero military background, yet he stepped right up to take on the challenge. King Saul tried to help by outfitting David in standard military gear, but David refused the heavy bronze armor because it was clunky and completely untested. It was simply too burdensome for a boy. Instead, he chose an entirely different loadout. He walked onto the battlefield carrying only his shepherd's sling and 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. David confidently stepped onto the field with minimal gear because he knew he wasn't fighting alone. His real advantage was his invisible partner. He looked right at the giant and declared, "The battle is the Lord's." David understood that God was much bigger than any opponent standing in front of him. This scale shows the problem. When comparing a massive giant to yourself, you look incredibly small and outmatched. But when God is fighting with you, the scale tips completely. The Creator is the ultimate power-up, instantly outweighing any problem and making the giant look tiny. David defeated Goliath with a single stone, proving that deep faith in God overcomes even the most intimidating physical strength. You don't have to be the strongest person in the room, as long as you place your trust in the creator of the room. Of course, defeating one giant doesn't mean life is perfect. David still had to grow up and face plenty of other challenges. Fortunately, God provides what we might call a co-op mode. David found a true friend in the king's son, Jonathan. Good friends cheer for your success instead of letting jealousy get in the way. Fast forward a few years, and David leveled up again. He eventually took the throne and became the king of Israel himself. But running a kingdom brings entirely new, complex problems. These were difficult issues that a shepherd's sling and a stone simply could not fix. Instead of guessing what to do next, King David regularly paused to inquire of the Lord, seeking God's specific direction through prayer. This top-down maze shows how that works. Think of prayer like pulling up the developer's strategy guide. A glowing path reveals the correct route around dead ends when you feel stuck. Effective leaders understand they don't have to know everything alone, as long as they ask Heavenly Father for the ultimate strategy. Even great earthly kings like David eventually make mistakes. And eventually, all of their reigns come to an end. This family tree illustrates an ancient promise God made to David. He promised a perfect, forever king would eventually come from his family line. That forever king is Jesus Christ. He is the ultimate leader, who never makes a mistake and never fails us. That means you don't have to face your modern boss battles alone. You can borrow David's playbook. You don't need heavy armor or perfect stats to succeed. You just need to find good friends and ask God for help. With Jesus by your side, you can face absolutely anything in your path, because the battle is the Lord's.